If it seems like there's a new natural disaster claiming the lives of thousands of people every few months, it's because it's true. Since 2000, more than 20 weather-related catastrophes have occurred, devastating countries such as Haiti, Indonesia, China, and the United States. From earthquakes to hurricanes, heat waves to tsunamis, take a look at the most horrific natural disasters of the 21st century. Number 10. 2001 Gujarat Earthquake. The 2001 Gujarat earthquake of a magnitude of between 7.6 and 7.7 occurred on January 26, 2001 at 8:46 a.m. local time and lasted for over 2 minutes. Nearly 20,000 people were killed and over 150,000 more were injured. The destruction to homes and property was huge, with around 400,000 homes completely turned into rubble. Many historic sites and tourist spots were also destroyed. The total property damage was estimated to be around $5.5 billion. Around 600,000 people became homeless in 21 districts, which were affected due to the shock waves that spread for about 700 kilometers. The earthquake happened to have struck on the 51st Republic Day of India. Number 9. 2011 Tohoku Earthquake and Tsunami. A 8.9 magnitude earthquake slammed Japan's northeastern coast, unleashing a 33-foot tsunami on March 11 at around 14:46 local time. The epicenter was said to be about 72 kilometers east of the Oshika Peninsula of Tohoku. The tsunami waves as high as 23.6 meters were triggered, which touched Japan within minutes of the earthquake. Tsunami warnings were issued for Japan and some 20 other countries along the Pacific coast of North and South America. In some countries, the smaller shock waves reached several hours later. Around 18,400 deaths have been confirmed, with 2,778 injured and around 17,339 people missing, as reported by the Japanese National Police Agency. There were tremendous property damages to roads, railways, and a dam which collapsed. Besides, 3 nuclear reactors had explosions due to hydrogen building up within the outer containment buildings. It is estimated to be the worst earthquake in the history of Japan. The earth itself shifted from its axis by about 10 centimeters. The losses are approximated at around $14.5 to $34.6 billion. But according to the World Bank, the estimates of the damages are placed around $122 billion and $235 billion. The Japanese government estimated the cost to reach about $309 billion. This makes it the world's most expensive natural disaster on record. Number 8. 2003 European heat wave. The 2003 European heat wave was one of the hottest summers in Europe, especially in France, in recorded history. There was a serious health crisis and droughts in many European countries, with the death toll reaching almost 40,000. In France, almost 14,802 deaths happened because of this heat wave. Extensive forest fires occurred in Portugal, with almost 5% of the countryside and 10% of the forest being destroyed due to temperatures reaching 48 degrees Celsius. In the Netherlands, there were about 1,500 heat-related deaths, with temperatures reaching 37.8 degrees Celsius. A couple of hundred deaths were reported both in Spain and Germany, where temperatures reached 45.1 and 41 degrees Celsius respectively. In Switzerland, many glaciers were melted in the Alps, causing avalanches and flash floods, with the new national record of temperature at 41.5 degrees Celsius. The United Kingdom's highest recorded temperature was on August 10, 2003, with 38.5 degrees Celsius in Kent, and Scotland broke its record of the highest temperature in Greycock at 32.9 degrees Celsius. Thousands of people died all across the UK, as reported by the BBC. There occurred a crop shortfall in southern Europe due to long droughts, with European Union's total production reduced by 10%. Number 7. 2005 Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina would end up being the costliest natural disaster and one of the top 5 deadliest hurricanes to ever hit the United States. Nearly 2,000 people perished during the actual hurricane and the following flooding. Property damage was estimated at over $80 billion. Katrina formed on August 23rd over the Bahamas, garnered her strength over the Gulf of Mexico, and came crashing onto the shore of southeast Louisiana on August 29th. The destruction to the states reached from central Florida to Texas. Forecasters warned for days about the devastation Hurricane Katrina could cause if it struck New Orleans, since the Louisiana city lies below sea level. When the storm hit the state as a Category 3 hurricane with sustained winds of 125 meters per hour, it met storm watchers' worst expectations. The levee system failed to keep out stormwater. President Bush and the Federal Emergency Management Agency were criticized for their failure to evacuate residents in the hardest-hit areas quickly. Number 6. 2010 Russian heat wave. The 2010 Northern Hemisphere summer, also known as the 2010 Russian heat wave, had an effect on most parts of the United States, Canada, Russia, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Indochina, South Korea, Japan, North Africa, and generally the whole of the European continent in the months from May till August, with June being the 4th consecutive warmest month on record globally. The whole period from April till June was also recorded to be the warmest for land areas in the Northern Hemisphere. This extreme weather caused forest fire in China, with the worst drought in 60 years of Yunnan province. Around 56,000 people died all across the mentioned places because of this calamity. The biggest ice shelf detachment in 48 years also took place in the Arctic Ocean, which connects Greenland and Nares Strait to the ocean. According to the World Meteorological Organization, the heat waves, droughts, and floodings fall within the predictions based on global warming for the 21st century. But some climatologists disagree, saying that such weathers would not have occurred had the atmospheric carbon dioxide been kept at pre-industrial levels. Number 5. 2008 Sichuan earthquake. May 12, 2008 was a horrific day for residents in the Sichuan province of China. An 8.0 magnitude earthquake struck China on this day, amassing nearly 70,000 dead. Over 50 million people lived in the damaged area, which is a mountainous region in western China. School buildings collapsed, children were killed, and unsafe building conditions were exposed, leaving the Chinese government in hot water. It left some 374,000 people injured, 18,000 were listed as missing, and some 4.8 million people became homeless, where the numbers could even go as high as 11 million, according to some reports. It had an epicenter at Wenchuan County in the province and was felt in both Beijing and Shanghai, as well as in the neighboring counties, with the buildings shaking with the tremor. The Chinese government announced to spend around $146.5 billion over the next 3 years in reconstruction and damage control measures. Number 4. 2005 Kashmir earthquake. The 2005 Kashmir earthquake struck in the morning at 8:52 local time on October 8, 2005 in the Pakistan-administered Kashmir, commonly known as Azad Kashmir. According to the Pakistani government's official death toll, around 75,000 people died, but the international donors estimate the deaths to be around 86,000. The tremors were also felt in the nearby countries of Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Western China, and also the Indian-administered Kashmir, where around 1,400 people died. The city of Karachi experienced a minor aftershock of magnitude 4.6, with a total of 147 aftershocks registered all across Pakistan on the first day after the initial quake hit. Almost 28 of these aftershocks occurred with greater magnitudes than the original quake, with one of them being of 6.2 magnitude. The earthquake was a consequence of the rising of the Himalayas, with the measurement from satellites showing that mountain parts directly above the epicenter have risen by a few meters and caused around 978 aftershocks as of October 27th of that year. Around $6.2 billion were given in aid from all over the world, and 5 crossing points on the line of control between India and Pakistan were also opened so that the humanitarian aid and medical relief could be supplied. but still the affected areas have not been restored to their pre-earthquake status in the region, including the 3 million who were left homeless after the quake struck. Number 3. 2008 Cyclone Nargis. Cyclone Nargis, swept along by winds that exceeded 190 kilometers per hour and waves 6 meters high, struck the Burmese Peninsula on May 2, 2008. Cyclone Nargis was a strong tropical cyclone that became the worst natural disaster for Myanmar, which led to around 146,000 deaths and 55,000 reported missing. It is said that the death toll must have been higher, but it was not reported by the Burmese government in fear of a political fallout. The damages were estimated to have cost around $10 billion. It is the deadliest named cyclone in the North Indian Ocean basin and the second deadliest in recorded history after the 1975 Typhoon Nina. Millions were left homeless after the storm on steroids slammed into the Southeast Asian nation formerly known as Burma. Not much aid has been received to recover from the damages caused due to a resistance from the Burmese military junta. Number 2. 2004 Indian Ocean Tsunami. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake, scientifically known as Sumatra Andaman earthquake, occurred on December 26, 2004, Sunday, which had an epicenter off the western coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. The earthquake triggered a number of tsunamis along many coasts connected with the Indian Ocean. It killed almost 230,000 people in 14 countries, with the hardest hit country being Indonesia, followed by Sri Lanka, India, and Thailand. The earthquake was felt at the same time at places like Bangladesh, India, Malaysia, Myanmar, Thailand, Singapore, and the Maldives, which was followed by the tsunami. The U.S. Geological Survey estimated that this earthquake delivered the equivalent amount of energy of 23,000 Hiroshima-like atomic bombs. It is said to be one of the deadliest disasters in recorded history. It made waves as high as 30 meters and had a magnitude of between 9.1 and 9.3. It is the third largest earthquake that was ever recorded on a seismograph and had the longest duration of 8 to 10 minutes of faulting that was ever observed. It caused the earth to vibrate as much as 1 centimeter and triggered earthquakes as far-reaching as Alaska. Altogether, the international community donated more than $14 billion for humanitarian efforts. Number 1. 2010 Haiti earthquake. More than 230,000 people were killed when a 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck Haiti on January 12, 2010, at 16:53 local time. The earthquake had an epicenter near the town of Léogâne, which is almost 25 kilometers west of Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince. Till January 24th, there were almost 52 recorded aftershocks, which measured up to 4.5 magnitude, and some were even greater. According to estimates, some 3 million people were affected by the disaster, with the death toll of around 316,000 people and 300,000 injured, and 1 million approximately became homeless. Around 30,000 commercial buildings are said to have been destroyed completely. The disaster management became a serious problem during this natural crisis, as delays were caused in distributing aid, and even violence is reported to have been observed. Haiti is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, ranking at 149th out of 182 countries on the Human Development Index. Haitian Minister of Education, Joel Jean-Pierre, reported that the country's whole education system has collapsed, with almost 1,300 schools and 3 main universities in Port-au-Prince destroyed. Around $1.1 billion were donated for the relief efforts, but only 2% of the money has been given so far.